Hey folks, how's it going? I thought I'd post one more video this evening. Just starting to wind down, it's getting late, blah blah blah. I'm kind of bored and waiting for my girlfriend to get home. She's out with workmates having dinner or something. Yeah, so it's time, I think, to talk about James Brown, another big part of my collection and my life. I love the man. Unfortunately, I never got to see him live. Typically, the year he passed away was the year I was going to see him live, and my friend were like, nah, we'll see him next year. He comes here every year. And of course, that Christmas he died. Worst Christmas ever. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do this, because I've got shitloads of James Brown. I've got shitloads of singles and shitloads of albums. I'm going to show you the singles first and see how long that takes, and then maybe I'll do the albums on a separate video. Otherwise, it's just going to go on and on. Or I'll try and be quick. We'll see how it goes. So, got the English pressing singles first, mainly English. Got a nice early copy of Night Train there. It's the second pressing on the Sue label. I think it was originally on Parlophone, which is very rare, but even this is pretty rare. Pretty nice copies. It's usually pretty scratched, but this one plays alright. And Sue was a very collectible label over here, and in America, I think. A good soul label that was over here. It was distributed by Island Records. This pressing's from '64, something like that. Classic, of course. I've got a beautiful original Papa's Got a Brand New Bag. That is mint. And of course, it's got part 2 on the B-side with Maceo's solo. It's got the date stamp there, which makes me think it may be a promo, but I guess we'll never know. Brilliant, of course. I Got You, I Feel Good, of course. There's still a few I don't have. I don't have It's a Man's World for some reason. And I don't have Say It Loud and Black and I'm Proud. And of course I don't have the earlier stuff. This is a rarish one. Money Won't Change You, parts 1 and 2. Great early 60s, well, mid-60s single. On Pi. Really nice track. I've got a promo of Bring It Up. Really good track, which I don't even know if it's available, if it's easy to get. This is obviously a promo. Got the very rare, this is probably the rarest Pi single in my opinion, Cold Sweat original. Again, the vinyl's really nice, but there's marks on the label, but that doesn't bother me so much. I'll buy them to play. So. Got a promo of Get It Together, another great track. Quite overlooked, very good. Part 1 and 2. Now onto the Polydor stuff. This really bugs me that the centre's missing. You can see the prongs bits there. I Can't Stand Myself When You Touch Me with There Was a Time on the B-side. I need another copy of that. A mint copy of I Got the Feeling. These English Polydor pressings are just great. If I Ruled the World on the B-side. Licking Stick, parts 1 and 2. Another great track with Bobby Bird on backing vocals. Yeah. Mother Popcorn. And I think from around this point on, most Polydor singles didn't have centres, that's how they were pressed. You'll find that with a lot of 70s Polydor pressings, especially like labels like Buddha, that were manufactured by Polydor or Atlantic. Sort of 70, 71, that sort of period, they didn't have centres, that's how they pressed them over here. It's quite interesting, the only label that did that over here. World, part 1 and 2, another really underrated single, good soul track, which I don't even know if it was on an album at the time. Beautiful pressing of Let a Man Come In and Do the Popcorn, which is very hard to find, probably one of the hardest ones it was for me to find, with Some Time on the B-side. The brilliant Ain't It Funky Now, part 1 and 2. Another great one. I'm trying to be quick. I mean, I could go into these musically, but I'm sure you know these are all heavy as fuck. All of these are great. And this is when it starts getting really heavy music-wise, funk-wise. It's a New Day, part 1 and 2. One of my favourites. the energy in that track is just insane. It's just all over the place. It's so good. With a nice cover of Georgia on My Mind on the B-side. Another one of my favourite singles of all time, of course, the classic Sex Machine. This is a mint original pressing, hard to find in such nice condition, and also what makes this rare is most of these copies don't have the centre, like I showed you just before, the ones without centres, but this is one that does have a centre, which makes it more unusual. Part 1 and 2, of course. Superbad, another one of my favourites, recorded at the same time with Bootsy Collins on bass, Catfish Collins on guitar. Those guys weren't in this band for long, but when they were there, man, they were fucking cooking. I'm a Greedy Man, parts 1 and 2. Another great one. Soul Power, part 1 and 2. All this stuff's just great, man. And I'm pleased to say these are all in nice condition. I don't buy them if they're too scratched because you can't really listen to them. This is an interesting one. It's got I Cried on the A side and Get Up, Get Into It, Get Involved on the B side. Another really good track. I Cried is more of a ballad. I'm not sure why the sides were switched, but hey, usually the ballads are on his B sides. Another great one. There it is, parts 1 and 2.
Oh, there it is.
Good stuff. Hot Pants, part 1 and 2. Another classic, of course. Or the full title, She Got to Use What She Got to Get Just What She Wants. Yeah, man. Love it. Honky Tonk, part 1, JB's track. Credited to James Brown's Soul Train, nice instrumental funk track. Make It Funky, part 1 and 2, absolute classic. Heavy as fuck, of course. Yeah, I didn't even realise I had this. James Brown and Lynn Collins. What My Baby Needs Now Is a Little More Loving. Really nice. I just remembered as well, I've got my sort of James Brown related stuff, like the Bobby Bird stuff as well. I don't think I've put them all out here, but I'll show those at some point. I got a bag of my own. Awesome. I've got Ants in My Pants and I Need to Dance. Dance. Hey, get down there. I bought this because of the sleeve. It's a French pressing of Woman, parts 1 and 2. A bit tatty, but look at that picture, man. That's just great. And I love the back because it's got the different labels as well. These are some of the labels that Polyball distributed at the time. Stax, Track, Dice, Bell, RSO, Verve, MGM. They had a lot of good labels under their wing, man. I'm starting to get into when Polydor started pressing plastic labels, not as attractive, but hey, Stone to the Bone, from the Payback, of course, my favourite James Brown album, which I've got on now. It's Hell, another great track. When he started going under the moniker of Minister of New Super Heavy Funk, sums it up pretty well. This has got Papa Don't Take No Mess on the B side, another great track, of course. Get Up Off of That Thing, brilliant, of course. Body Heat, parts 1 and 2, another nice one. This is from sort of the disco period when disco took over. His records weren't selling, but he still had some good shit going on. But this stuff's still quite largely ignored even now. I don't think much of it's been reissued, which is a shame because there's some good stuff there. Eyesight, now this has got the centre missing, so I need another one of these. That's a really good track. Check it out if you don't know. The first pressing, because this was unreleased until the 80s, of She's the One, great late 60s track on the legendary Urban label with Funky President on the B side, a sort of English label that specialised in breaks and shit. Now I've got the American pressings. I don't have that many. I've got Just Plain Funk, which is a largely forgotten about instrumental track from the late 60s, which is fucking great. I think it's one of the first songs he released with the word funk in it. It's not funk as we know it. It's just it's funky. but it's more like a sort of really good soul track, instrumental, and he's pumping away on the organ. That's a good track. I've got my, seeing as this didn't come out over here, my first American pressing of Get Up, Get Into It, Get Involved, part 1 and 2. Like I said, showed the one before, this only came out over here as a B-side. This is one that I picked up when I worked in a record shop. A promo of Hey America in a picture sleeve with the lyrics on the back, because the B-side is an instrumental version and it's got the lyrics Sing Along with James. And I've got to show you this as well. It's got this is lovely. It's got the original company sleeve inside with the white label. I don't know how rare this is. I mean, I haven't seen one since. So this is one that I really cherish. This is one of my prized JB singles, man. Spin it back in the plastic. What other American ones? Let's speed up a bit here. It's 11 minutes already. We've got classic Down and Out in New York City from the Black Caesar album with Mama's Dead on the B-side. Fortunately this has writing on the label, but I think I got it pretty cheap. Reality, another great track. Another awesome track which I don't think has been reissued, but it is funky as fuck. If you don't know this, you've got to hear it. It must be on YouTube somewhere. Hustle, Dead on It. 75 it came out. It is heavy as shit. Dead on It, part 2 on the B-side. Have a Happy Day, another really nice track, which was released on the Mother's Nature album in '76. It's just a really nice mellow soul track. One of my favourites. Check it out. I've got this is a repressing. It's not the original, unfortunately. The Believers across the track on JB's short-lived Brownstone label. Very hard to find, but it's a repressing, like I say. I've got some of the JB stuff here. These are the JB's part 1, the UK pressing on Mojo, part 1 and 2. Give Me Some More with The Rabbit Got the Gun on the B-side. JB Shout with Backstabbers on the B-side. And Doing It to Death, of course. Yeah. So I don't know where my Bobby Bird ones are. They're probably, well, they're in there somewhere, but I'll have to find them. If anyone really wants to see them, drop me a line, I'll put them up at some point. So, yeah, that's the singles. I think I should start another video for the albums, because there's just too many. So stay tuned and I will post up the albums. Peace.